Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be talking about Washington Commanders 5th round pick KJ Henry, a little bit of background information on him, some of his strengths and weaknesses at Clemson, and talking about expectations for him in 2023. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content, like 7 subscribers away from 11,000. So please go ahead and hit that button, and also check out Man to Sleep, link in the description. So the Washington Commanders drafted defensive end KJ Henry out of Clemson in the 5th round of the 2023 NFL draft as a rotational edge rusher. Might not get a ton of playing time year one, but he's definitely someone that they see, having a future in DC over the next few years. So let's go over some information about KJ Henry. So 24 years old, played at Clemson, about 6'4", 255 pounds, will be wearing number 55 for the Washington Commanders. And some personal information about him before we get into his stats at Clemson and other things like that. He was the number 6 player in the nation, entering college, ranked by ESPN, and there's some other, stats in there as well. Recruited by Todd Bates and Mike Reed. Started Clemson, enrolled in January of 2018. He was born in 1999, earned a degree in sports communication in 3 years and a master's degree in athletic leadership in another year. I think he also was a team captain at Clemson as well. So this guy's a really high character guy. We know Ron Rivera and them, like to, get these high character guys, and you love to see it. He won the 2021 PAW Journey Pat Man of the Year award, and you guys can see some of these other great leadership awards that he has won. And yeah, it's great to see another good guy, joining the Washington Commanders. In terms of his stats, he started in 2018, really didn't do much, and then in 2019 got a couple sacks. 2020 had 3.5 sacks, 6 tackles for loss, 23 total tackles. And then in 2021, his junior year, had the most sacks he ever had with 4. And then in this year was interesting. He had 3.5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, and 51 total tackles. So he had more than double, the tackles that he ever had, in terms of his, highest tackles before 2022. He also had 6, passes that were batted down, which is more than all his first 4 seasons combined, and had a forced fumble. So I think overall his best year by far was his senior year. I don't know the advanced stats, but just in terms of production, he had half a sack less than he had in 2021, but he had more than double the tackles, had 2.5 more tackles for loss, had 6 more passes, I guess he batted down 6 more passes, had a fumble recovery, also had a forced fumble. So had a really good year in 2022. You would love to have that sack production a little bit higher, but again, you can't get everything you want when you're drafting an edge rusher in the 5th round. It was the beginning of the 5th round. They traded up to get KJ Henry. But yeah, you're not going to get everything you want in an edge rusher in the 5th round. But he has a lot of good qualities here. And again, you pair that with a really, good leader and high character guy, similar to James Smith-Williams, who always wins. He doesn't get like the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominees, but he's always doing some really good things in the community. And I think, KJ Henry is going off topic with the, community stuff. I think this year he's going to get a decent amount of playing time and will be kind of that. Maybe he won't start out as that third edge rusher, because we do have Efe Obada, James Smith-Williams, and Casey Tua who have all played a decent amount the last few years. But I think by the end of the season, I hope that he is the clear-cut 3rd guy on the team, and that could bode well for the next year if they can't or they don't want to keep one of the 2 edge rushers in Chase Young and Montez Sweat. Real quick, a word from our sponsor. And a huge shout out to Man to Sleep for sponsoring this video. Man to Sleep makes the best sleep masks in the world. They sent me one, about 2 months ago, and I've been using it every single day, and it's been really helping me out, especially when I'm on vacation. It just makes it way easier to fall asleep and keeps me sleeping for as long as possible. They have a bunch of different sleep masks you guys can check out that change temperature, that change the sound as well. Got mine right here. Been using it for a while. Make sure you guys go ahead and check it out. Link in the description. Use code HDTC for 10% off. Okay, so now let's talk about some strengths and weaknesses for KJ Henry and just some other information about him. So he's a prototypical DN in a 4-3, and that's what we play. A good length, effective hand usage, strong motor, lacks bend/twitch to win with speed, and ideal role is a rotational player. That's what the Draft Network had to say about KJ Henry, and they had him as a third round value. And then, the NFL.com, which is what a lot of people look at, I don't know why it's still loading. There we go. They had him at 6.17, so good backup with the potential to develop into starter. And in the 5th round, honestly, that's kind of what I would hope for. So again, 6'4", about 250. His 40-yard dash time was a 4.63. And then, 10-yard split, 1.65. Vertical jump, 31.5. You guys can see the rest. So athleticism score is really, really low. But I'm just wondering, I don't know how NFL, how the next gen stats, does it. But maybe because he's missing these, it's bad. Because a 4.63 is pretty good for an edge rusher. I mean, Montez Sweat had, a 4.4. And that was considered, insane. So a 4.6, I think, is pretty solid. Is better than solid in my opinion. And, you can see some of the things right here. Redshirt in 2018, we talked about that. And, we kind of went we went over all this. So he was projected as a, 4th to 5th round pick. We drafted him in the 4th or 5th round, in the beginning of the 5th round. So, solid value there. An overview, highly athletic edge rusher. So this thing right here that says his athleticism score is terrible, it's wrong. He's athletic. That's what I thought. So it says, highly athletic defender with good size, good upfield burst. He tends to be a face-up rusher and will need to improve his hand usage for more effective corner ends. He can be dynamic when twisting and blitzing as a movable piece around the defensive front, and he does a nice job of setting up buttery smooth inside rush that is often too quick for tackles. He can dart and disrupt as a one-gapper with his hand in the ground, but has more trouble than expected in setting firm edges as a run defender. His strengths and weaknesses are well defined with the upside to become a starter. And again, that's kind of what you want in a 5th round pick. And some strengths, we talked about his, community work and, his character. And you guys can see some of his strengths, disruptive snap quickness as a run defender, reaches in and targets throwing hand around the rush arc, and reads quarterback and frequently bats down the pass. And that's what we talked about in the last season. He had 6 of those, which is more than all the other seasons combined. And again, I'm not going to lie, I didn't watch, much tape of KJ Henry, but, so these are my, notes and stuff, but just go ahead and read those. And weaknesses, could struggle with NFL edge setting duties, can be jostled off his base at point of attack. So overall, seems like he's an athletic guy that has a chance to be a starter in this league, and obviously will not be a starter for the Commanders once he comes in his rookie year. As long as Montez Sweat and Chase Young stay healthy, knock on wood, he'll be the 3rd or 4th guy. But I think at the end of the season, hopefully he is consistently being that 3rd guy, the next guy that they bring in if Chase and Montez need a breather, which it seems like they need often. So James Smith-Williams, Casey Tua, all those guys they've done a pretty good job when they've come in, but none of them have been wow. I don't think any of those guys have set themselves apart from the rest of the group. James Smith-Williams, again, he's a guy that he's a free agent after this year, I believe. If he wants to come back for cheap, I want to bring him back. Again, high character guy, and also play in the ACC, and that would be good. But if he doesn't and another team's paying more for him, that's fine. Same thing with Casey Tuahill. And, F.A. Obata is a solid guy as well, but none of them are okay, we need to keep this guy. KJ Henry could be that guy where he's consistently getting you 4 or 5 sacks, maybe a little less, maybe 3-4 sacks. And if he's, as a backup, and if he was a starter, he could be getting you 6-7 sacks, maybe even a little bit more. And as a, second option, that's not terrible, at getting 6-7 sacks as, out of your second, edge rusher. Because Montez Sweat has been our best edge rusher the last few years, and he gets around 8-9 sacks a year. So, if you're getting 6-7 sacks, that's fine. That's pretty good, especially 4th, 5th round pick. Another, Another kind of fun fact, he was a Redskins fan growing up, or at least his dad was a big Redskins fan. I know when he got drafted, he had the jersey. I can't remember whose jersey it was, but his dad came out with the Skins jersey and was really, really excited about that. So maybe he wasn't a Commanders or Redskins fan, but his dad certainly was. So excited for that. His dad's definitely got to be excited for sure. And, not sure about what clips I can and can't show, but I know this. I think I can show this clip. It's just a Senior Bowl practice. Senior Bowl practice clip. And you see KJ Henry here working against not sure who, but let's see what happens here. Able to win inside and get to the QB. Would have easily been a sack, and looks pretty good there. Looks pretty good. Again, an athletic guy that will need some development, but again, working behind two very athletic guys in Chase Young and Montez Sweat. So hopefully he learns a little bit from them. And I think a solid season for him would be like 3-4 sacks. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but again, he's a 5th-round pick. So, I think James Smith-Williams had like a sack or something his rookie year as a 7th-round guy and was getting a decent amount of PT. So if KJ Henry can be, maybe originally at the start he'll be the 4th or 5th guy behind James Smith-Williams, F.E. Obata, and Casey Tuhill. Maybe one of those guys will switch inside because Williams and Obata can go inside. But I think as the season progresses, he'll get better and better and more comfortable, and he'll get to the point where he's the 3rd or 4th option. And going into year 2, he's like, okay, he's either the starter or he's the 3rd option for sure. And I think that is the ultimate goal. So yeah, I'm excited. He's one of the guys I'm most excited about for the Commanders, at least out of the guys drafted on day 2 and day 3. He's the one one of the guys I'm really excited for. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.